Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to this month's Wine Writers Wrap Up. And today we are talking about what I was initially going to talk about last month, but popped into that change of the Somm scandal. This month we are going to be talking about embarrassing wine moments. And I kind of left this really open. Normally I give you guys an outline and where we're going and what we're doing. And there's really not an outline for this. I just figured we would go with the flow and see what's going on. So first off, why don't you guys introduce yourself? Debbie, why don't you go first?
Hi, I'm Debbie Giaquindo. I'm known as the Hudson Valley Wine Goddess. I'm a wine writer, wine blogger. I'm a wine brand owner of Happy Bitch Wines. I'm an author of Tapping the Hudson Valley. And I'm also a restaurateur. I own a partner in Kitchen 330 in Stone Harbor. And I think that's it for now. I'll learn to say no.
You and me both. You and me both. And Michael.
Oh, boy, it's hard to follow Debbie. That's pretty impressive. I want to know where you get your energy.
I don't
know. So so now I feel bad. I'm retired and not doing any work. And how's that? That probably
doesn't. Awesome.
I want to be you. I want to be you, Michael.
But I do
all day.
Yeah, so I do get involved with wine. I have a website, California Wines and Wineries, and blogging and working, judging wine events, etc. So I'm involved still quite a bit with wines, about 7 days a week still.
So just about 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Well, I am Lori. I am your host tonight, and I teach as a full-time job for 2 more years, 25 months to be exact. Not that I'm counting. I also am co-owner with my husband of Dracaena Wines in Paso Robles, California, where we produce award-winning Cabernet Franc and a rosé of Syrah. And potentially in 2020, we will be releasing a Grenache Blanc. That is what we are focusing in on now. And I am so excited because December 4th is Cab Franc Day. So it is coming up, and I am so honored because Saturday I get to go to Hungary, and I will be talking in Villeneuve to the Franc and Franc conference, and we will be talking, Mike and I will be talking about Cab Franc in California and Cab Franc Day. So
that is like such an honor. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I am so excited, really, really excited. I never would have thought when I sarcastically started a wine holiday, because every other wine had one, that it would be this big and be international and all of that. So I'm pretty darn excited.
That's great.
Thanks. So now the really important stuff. Michael, what are you drinking? Please don't say water.
Because I had so much difficulty logging on, I never got any wine, so I have nothing.
Oh,
both hands empty. Both hands empty. Sorry. Oh
no! All right, Debbie, you got to rescue me. What you got?
I don't know if I can rescue you because I already.
I know you have something.
I already drank. It's a Pecorino.
Oh.
It's really, really, really good. P for Wine for Bed Street. Next round.
Next round.
Really good. It's a Urzo Pecorino Terra di Chieti, 2017, I think. Yep, 2017. Really nice.
Wow, awesome. And I am drinking something that is a first for me. It is a sparkling Riesling Sekt.
Oh, nice. I've had one recently.
Have you?
I did. A restaurant customer brought me one.
Oh.
And I was very surprised how much I liked it.
Yeah, so it is it I I'm actually really blown away. It's
What
really
is favorite?
it is a Riesling Extra Trocken. It is a non-vintage. Um and it's really good. So this is actually a sample from Wine Cellars Limited, Ltd. That stands for limited, right? Wine Cellars has sent this to me along with some other German wines to sample, and I was in such a bad mood today because of some stuff that's going on at school. And also because I have like 3.5, 4 inches of snow outside my door. Um, that I decided that, you know what, everybody always says bubbles are for celebrations.
Okay.
And I was proving that bubbles just make you happy. So when you're in a bad mood, you don't need to be celebrating. You can be in a bad mood and it can just
And
make
it makes you happy. That's
yes.
right.
So
Yeah,
that is why I chose.
Well, I will say that my wine was a sample as well from Donna White PR.
Oh, okay.
So
All right. So,
So,
Michael,
I
you
give credit where credit's due.
yeah, Lori, is that wine, that Riesling sparkling, is it very sweet?
no, it is dry. It
Really?
is dry. It is a crisp apple. It's really beautiful. I did an Instagram story for it and I said, acid heads be, rejoice. It is crisp. It is acidic. It's green apple. It's got some floral notes, some honey, a little bit of caramel. It's dry. I mean, it's not. There's a hint, but it is definitely a dry. Um, I was a little worried about it because that was a concern of mine.
So high in acidity that you don't taste the
Right,
sweet, balance it out.
right. But it is a Trocken, and that is the dry. It is classified as dry. It is actually, in order to be a Trocken, it needs to be 9 grams or
Right.
less of residual. So it was it. So Michael, fake cheers to you, Sláinte, Debbie, Sláinte. All right. So we have a viewer. So hi. Please let us know. I'm trying to do this on YouTube also, watching this on YouTube. So please let us know who's watching. Howdy, howdy, and thank you for joining. So this, yeah, Debbie, if you could help me out with that, you're much better at that type of stuff than I am.
See anybody here though?
I can see down on the Google Hangout that it says one viewer.
Okay.
So I have to give credit where credit is due. I am never one to steal ideas without giving credit to the people. But one of the podcasts that I listen to on a very regular basis, and I look forward to listening to every week, is the Wine to Five podcast. And that podcast is hosted by Stephanie Davis and Valerie Caruso. And when they have guests on, they don't always have guests, but when they have guests on, one of the things that they always ask the guests to do is to share an embarrassing moment. And I always think that that's awesome. And I personally tell my kids all the time that when you do something embarrassing, it's only embarrassing because you're nervous that everybody is looking at you and everybody is, making fun of you. If you can laugh at yourself, then it's no longer embarrassing. So I tell them, I'm like, when you trip in the hallway and everybody's laughing at you, roll over and laugh at yourself. You fell. It's funny, So if you can laugh at yourself when you do embarrassing things, it's no longer really embarrassing. And I think when you add alcohol to the mix, there's probably a lot of embarrassing moments. So thank you to Stephanie and Valerie for coming up with the idea. And so that is where I got this idea from. And I thought we would share embarrassing ideas, but I also kind of scoured some well-known people in the wine industry and found out some of their embarrassing moments also. And I thought we could just kind of chuckle at them and ask what you would do in that situation. So you guys up for that?
Sure.
All right. So this is wine. This is actually a winemaker, Michelle Dupree, and in her words, it was an evening a very long time ago when I was learning how to fill barrels for the first time. It's not a difficult thing to do. It honestly is not a difficult thing to do. But as soon as I started reading this, I knew where it was going, because there is something that that can happen. But in my defense, I didn't have the greatest equipment for a first timer. There were a few spills. Spilling wine feels terrible, and you're wasting, you're crying over the spilt wine, and it sprayed all over myself and other barrels' walls. It was embarrassing to have such a mess, but the real picnic was after she spilled all of this and sprayed herself with the wine, she was pulled over by a cop for a broken tail light. And she had to explain why she and the entire car smelled like Merlot. And how she was covered head to toe in wine.
That's funny.
So I'm thinking to myself, what would you do? You're covered in wine and you're driving and you get pulled over. What do you do?
Yeah.
There's a good explanation for this.
I guess. Michael, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, how do you can't backtrack on that at all. That, I wasn't drinking. I mean, this wine just fell on me. I don't know where it came from. It's going to be, that'd be a fun story to listen to, I think.
Right? I kind of knew she was going that it got sprayed all over because as you're filling the barrels, it is pressure. There's pressure going through, the pipes to fill it. So I knew it was going all over. But when she added the car, I'm thinking, they always say everybody always says, I only had one. But she's covered in it. And I guess she could still walk the line and do that stuff. But that would be an interesting one. So anyway, Debbie, do you have one for us?
I sat here before with my husband. I said, I got to go on this thing, most embarrassing wine moment. I know I've had a few, but I can't remember. And he goes, I know you've had some, but he goes, I can't remember either. But one that sticks out was the first Wine Bloggers Conference I went to.
Okay.
And this was, I think it was the second Wine Bloggers Conference that they had. And I was tasting a wine. And I said to the woman, I said, oh, how long has it been in the barrel? And she goes, this isn't barrel aged. I was like, oh, okay. And I walked away and I go, it's malolactic that I taste. Not the barrel. That
Well, she could have answered that a little bit nicer. I mean, that's not.
But I know I have some, and I can't think of the stupidity of the things that I've done.
Oh man.
And I've done some real stupid things.
So we were at a tasting in a winery, and my mom is 100% Italian. Not that this at all looks Italian. I definitely take after my dad, the Irish Scottish end of it, but Italian wise, I talk with my hands all the time. And so we were at a winery and I was doing my little talking, whatever. And I took the glass out, which, they don't pour that much, but we had just poured, took the glass out. It went flying and it went off the back of the tasting thing and then shattered all over the place. And I was kind of mortified. I was like, I'm so sorry.
Knocked bottles over and glasses over very easily. Just ask my nephew in talking at the table when I was staying at my sister's, and I went to go kiss him goodnight. I went like this and just dumped the whole glass of wine. So now the big joke is when I stay at my sister's, when they go to bed, and he's a freshman in high school, I'm like, do I get a hug and a kiss goodnight? He goes, where's your wine? Don't spill the wine.
Oh, I've actually smacked somebody trying to give him a hug with my hands, you know. All right, Michael, what you got? Come on.
Well, I could only think of one, but it's a doozy. It's a pretty good one. So this goes back a couple of decades ago when we were just getting into wine, and we belonged to a club, and we were in the area to pick up this wine. And I said, I'm not sure what we're getting. And so we were just going to pick up the wine and go. So I said, why don't I just drive up to the front? You just go in and get the wine, come back, and, blah, blah, blah. She goes, fine. And she does. And these guys are bringing all this wine. And we picked up like $1,200, $1,400 worth of wine at the time. So she comes back and she goes, what did you order? I said, well, I don't really know. It's just a shipment. I don't know what's on that order. And she goes, well, it's $1,200 or $1,400 worth of wine. You don't know what no, I don't remember what it was, So this is, like I said, 20 plus years ago. So she grabs the thing, she hands it to me, and she says, why in the world would you buy this wine? I said, well, you like their wine. What do you mean? Why are you saying that? She goes, well, it says 6 bottles of seepage. I said, 6 bottles of seepage? Why would anybody name their wine seepage? This doesn't make any sense to me. We're paying $80 a bottle, again, 20 years ago, for seepage. And she goes, seepage? What are you doing? I think you got this thing goofed up. And we start having this conversation. So I call the guy that I knew at the winery, and I said, what's the story with seepage? It's not seepage, it's seepage. And to this day, when we've traveled over to France and everywhere, every time we see seepage on a wine list, we fall over laughing.
It's kind of like a Christmas Story, Fragile.
So that was the most embarrassing thing. Both my wife was embarrassed. I was embarrassed when I talked to the winery, and then over the years,
Well, now it's a joke. So you got to be able to laugh at yourself, right? You got to be able to laugh at yourself. Man, you guys can only think of one. I can.
I'm having a big brain fart on this one. And I know there's a lot. If you ask my kids, they'll tell you.
Oh, yeah. All right. So here is another wine person's embarrassing moment. I am not familiar with this person, but Whitney Adams owns Bottle Stock. Do we know I don't know what Bottle Stock is. Does anybody know what Bottle Stock is?
I don't know. I'll Google it.
Okay. She says, my most embarrassing wine moment happened more than once, sadly, are when I splatter myself and my face with wine from a spit bucket full of my and other people's wine slurps in front of the winemakers and my fellow wine professionals. It feels as disgusting as it sounds. Sometimes the buckets get a bit full and you're attending, the big tastings, and if you're not paying attention, splash. And I will say that happens all the time to me.
Oh yeah.
I spit, and like you try to spit. First of all, every time I have to spit, one of the reasons why I usually always wear my hair in a braid when I go to wine tasting events is because I'm always tired of having to do this in order to spit.
And then you spit and you come up and you're drooling.
Drooling, I know.
The napkin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The drool on the cheek, and then you look down.
Somebody else, and it's like, okay, do you go first or does he go first?
Right? So and that so oh my God, when we were in Bordeaux, Ryan and Fabian, we were joking because at the tastings they didn't have the buckets on tables. They had, and I had never actually seen this before. They had stand-up spit buckets, like all over. You know how like when you go to a place, they have garbage pails kind of all over the place. They just had these spit buckets all over the place, and they were stand-up ones. And multiple times, multiple times, we go to go spit, and there's somebody else there, and you're like, you're like pointing to each other. So we were laughing, and Ryan, I videoed Ryan and Fabian. We did a little story of them walking up to each other, swirling, and then having a conversation over the spit bucket with the spit, with the wine in their mouth. But yeah, I mean, you can clock heads. You can, like you have to really pay.
They can be dangerous.
It can be death by spit bucket. And there was also, this wasn't embarrassing to me, I just couldn't believe it happened. There was a woman there with, and I think I mentioned this on another Wine Writers Wrap Up, there was a woman there with a baby, like legit baby, like like this, and she's spitting over the baby's head, and all I kept thinking was, you're spitting on your baby, like they're like she spits and then she wipes the baby's head. She spits and she wipes the baby's head.
Yeah, like a baptism.
I guess so. So I don't know. Yeah, the spit buckets. I actually have. So sidebar from embarrassing moments. I'm assuming whatever. I'm not judging. You guys spit when you go to a tasting event?
Yeah, always.
Okay. Do you use the spit buckets?
I do.
Yeah.
Because I usually don't bring my own cup. Like, I got to learn to do that, like Catherine has taught me.
I have started to bring my own solo cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to remember to do that.
Yeah. I have started to bring my own solo cup because they have the wine glasses, and sometimes if I don't have the solo cup, I will take 2 glasses and then I will spit in one and then dump. But I personally don't think people want to see my, you can see through wine glasses. Other places only give you 1 glass, so that's a problem. But that leads into another embarrassing moment. Having 2 wine glasses, one that you're drinking out of,
this is going,
and one that you're spitting out of, and kind of, I'm a ambidextrous person. I do a lot of, I can write both righty and lefty. Sport wise, upper body sports, I play righty. Lower body sports, I play lefty. I eat as a lefty. So when I'm at these events, I've got 2 glasses in my hand, and yeah, it kind of might have happened once or twice.
A little blend, huh?
What? Maybe once, twice, and then I realize, and I'm like, this is not right.
Yeah, you couldn't quite figure out what year that was or what varietal it was.
Yeah, this has a little odd, what exactly am I getting here? Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of embarrassing, but I'm sure I'm not the only person who has done that also, or I'd like to think not. So come on, guys, you don't have any other embarrassing moments?
I'm telling you, you'd have to ask my kids. You'd have to ask the people I'm with, because I am like, I know there are a lot.
Right.
I must have blocked them out of my mind.
I guess I'm just like the fool that totally makes a mess out of things. Whatever.
I make a mess out of a lot of things. You're not the only ones. You're not the only one. I spill wine. I, looked at a Corvan and I didn't know how to use it. And I'm like, how do you get wine out of this?
They're not easy. Michael, do you have a Coravin,
I
Michael?
do now.
Yeah.
I do now. Yeah.
I can get it in very easily, but I have a very difficult time getting it back out.
Oh, I have no problem now, but I didn't know how to use it.
Oh
And
no,
at first, I'm like, how do you use this thing? I was in the Jordan wine space. How do you use this thing? Someone came up and showed me.
You know what else I find about the Coravin, whatever, I always have difficulty? My height. You know, I can put the Coravin needle in, like if I'm pouring for a restaurant or something.
Mhm.
First of all, that's embarrassing. Like when I put the Coravin in and then one time I ran out of
Yes.
I ran out of the stupid capsule in the middle of a pouring for a restaurant. Luckily, the solution to that is just open the bottle. But that's kind of embarrassing running out of the Coravin. Now I always carry an extra capsule. But I put it in easily, but then to pull it out, you know, you need some leverage. And the tables in a lot of the restaurants are so high, I don't have the leverage. So I have to kind of like, you know, take it off the table and whatever.
Put it between your legs and pull.
Yeah, but you know, when you're trying to sell wine, that's not the most.
I know. It's not the most dainty thing to do.
Yeah, you're like, thank you. All right. Now, do you guys know Horse and Plow? You familiar with the winery Horse and Plow?
Yeah.
All right. So David Penn is actually the assistant winemaker for Horse and Plow. And he says, I was doing a punch down on a bin, lost my balance, and fell in. He said, I got out fast. Nobody saw me, but I couldn't hide the fact that my jeans were red up to my thighs for the rest of the day.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
He said, and it pretty much happened first thing in the morning. So, you know,
bring a change of clothes.
yeah. You know, I guess I've never really thought about that, but like punch downs are tough. You know, I mean, they have you guys done a punch down at any? It's not easy, and you know, some of them you're standing on the board, like if it's the big thing, you're standing on that board across it. I would laugh my ass off if I fell in. I seriously would.
Wow. I keep your mouth. That's one of the few times you keep your mouth open.
Yeah.
I would actually be turning around going, I hope nobody saw me.
I see. That's the thing. I would. He said he was red up to the thighs. I would have laughed so hard that I would have like rolled over and I would have been red from head to toe because I would have been laughing my ass off at myself. Like, I think that would be hysterical if I fell in. That, you know, that could be like a new event, like diving into them or whatever. No.
Like, you know, when when you throw the thing to get the person to dunk, a dunking thing.
Yeah. So that was in what is the Sideways and then the second book.
I know what you're talking about, the second book.
Yeah, did you read it, Michael?
I did.
No.
You read it, Debbie. Now, so the second book, there's something like that in the second book that Miles climbs up a thing and dives.
Oh, yeah.
Dives into it. Now it's going to bother me. I can't remember what the name of that movie is. All right.
I read the book. Did they make a movie out of that too?
The second one, I think he's trying to. I think he's trying to raise money to do it. I know that when they sent me the sample, they were talking about trying to get a movie going, but that was like over a year ago, I think, that the books were sent out, weren't they?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the movie. But Michael, do you like to read?
Oh yes.
So
there's libraries all around these walls. Yeah.
This if I wish I could remember, I'll have to send you an email with the name of it. the book.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know there was a second book or second story on it. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
It's
It's kind of sad.
God, it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy.
I can't remember the name of it either, but I remember you need a tissue at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't spoil the end.
I won't.
It's just I again laughed so hard in that book. I wrote a blog post about it and I called it the roller coaster of books, because one moment you're laughing hysterically, the next moment you're like, oh my God, and then you're back laughing. But in the book, they're traveling and they go through Fresno. So I was laughing hysterically. It's kind of like why I liked oh gosh, I'm blanking on that too. The HBO Goodfellas, HBO with James Gandolfini. James Gandolfini, the HBO show.
Vertical.
Yeah, Vertical. Yeah. What the heck is the HBO show with that was James Gandolfini, all of the mobsters?
Oh, I know what you're talking. I don't have HBO, but
well, that was filmed all around here. Like that was in
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that was all in Lodi and Hasbrook Heights and all around here. So that's one of the reasons why we watched it so much, was because, well, we would watch them filming it. The Bada Bing actually is in my town. It's like a mile and a half away, so we would watch it. But so reading Vertical, them going through Fresno and then really describing actual things in Fresno, I was laughing. But Michael, grab it if you can. It's a funny book. It's a quick read. It's a quick read.
Yeah.
All right. So this person, Gal Zohar. This was a sommelier. I was once flown to Sardinia for a 50th birthday. How nice is that? He gets flown to Sardinia to work. One of the host's presents was a custom-made decanter. I was asked to use it, so I took it away, and a second later, it was on the floor in a million pieces.
Ouch.
Eek, eek, eek. All right. This person has two. Actually, one is an embarrassing moment that happened not to him, and then the other one happened to him. And this is kind of sort of worse, than what happened to you, Debbie. So Stefano Petta was working at hotel. I have no idea how to say this. Switzerhof Bern in Switzerland. Okay. I had a very confident customer who wanted to impress everybody at the table. He ordered a Herrero Arnés from Piedmont. I brought the bottle and he started laughing at me and then insisted, "Why on earth are you serving a red wine in a wine bucket?"
In a wine bucket?
So he was very embarrassed to have discovered that, an Arnés is a white wine. Kind of tough to impress if you are ordering a white wine when you think you're ordering a red. So has anybody done that? Like thought you knew what the wine was very impressively? This is talking about it, whatever, and then found out it wasn't that.
Not really.
No, man, you guys are.
Well, you guys are trained in this. I'm a neophyte, relatively.
I'm not trained in this at all.
So I'm very cautious about what I say. So I tend to be a little bit more. I can stick my foot in my mouth at almost any other occasion, but I'm a little bit. I walk on tiptoes around in wine circles.
Really?
You know what? I have to
Wow.
tell you though, I do too, because I feel that, I mean, sometimes embarrassed because maybe I don't know and I don't want to misspeak. And sometimes when the people that I'm around, if I ask a question, I feel sometimes that maybe they'll laugh at me. You know,
No.
so, you know.
I will say there are, for as many people that are nice in the wine industry, because I think it is a very
Yeah.
wonderful industry to be part of. I can see that there's a lot of, it's, there's not the term wine snob for nothing.
And
But
I don't think that you can't know everything. Everything's always evolving, and everyone's at different levels of knowledge. And you get that knowledge just by trying and reading and research. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, I kind of was that way in Bordeaux. I mean, when I went to Bordeaux, I didn't know a single thing about it. When I won, I went into like panic mode and study mode. Like, I started reading everything about Bordeaux wines. I was taking French lessons, not that I needed that, but I was taking French lessons. And then when, the first night we were there, they did they split us up into two teams and they did blind tasting. And they wanted us to claim what, is this left bank, right bank, is what appellation is this? What is this? I'm like, oh, so I kind of stayed quiet with that. I was a little better with not an actual vintage, but is it an older vintage or a younger vintage? I was decent with that because that's other stuff. But yeah, I get it. It's not always so easy to talk out if you're not confident. But
well, I guess the difference. I mean, I assume you're doing this for a living, on a professional level, right? Whereas this is an avocation for me and a hobby, as opposed to. So when I'm around sommeliers and master sommeliers, and I actually have helped several master sommeliers do some writing, I'm laying back in the weeds. I'm not. Whereas my personality, generally, I'm pretty much outspoken and out there and everything else. But when it comes to what I call the high society of wine, I tend to be a little bit more reserved.
Oh. All right, I guess I see it. I see it. I mean, I am much more confident when I'm talking Cab Franc. Give me a blind tasting type thing. People were saying, we were doing blind tastings, and they're like, oh, I think this is a Cab Franc. But I'm like, this is not a Cab Franc. I can, so, I guess everybody has their specialties, but I guess no matter how much knowledge you have, there's always going to be somebody who has more knowledge.
Right.
No matter how great of an athlete you are, there's always somebody who's going to be more athletic. But Michael, do you feel that, and Debbie, both of you, do you feel that I don't want to use the word intimidated. Are you choosing not to speak up, or do these people present themselves as don't talk unless you're 100% sure type thing? You understand what I'm saying or asking?
No, I don't think so. Well, first off, obviously with Irish heritage, I'm obviously going to speak out. So, that's not the issue. So, and you can relate to that. So, but the question is, I just, like when I do a lot of fact checking before I write any stories and things, just to make sure that I'm, spot on. Not that I can't make a mistake. I'm just saying I want to avoid the simple or dumb mistakes as best as possible, I guess is the best way to say it. But nobody's ever come after me, in whether, to your point, I think there is a really good crowd within, or a level of I think the better people in the industry understand that you'll never get to a certain point of expertise. You're always learning and learning and learning and learning. And I think that's the thing that it's an endless journey in the wine business and wine knowledge. You can never learn enough. And that's why I just tried to focus on this little thing called California. And, and that alone gets you going in 1,000 different directions. I was at a meeting last night and they said, well, you ought to go down to the Central Coast, and we have some friends down there that knows a bunch of wines and blah, blah, blah. I said, I can't get to everybody that's already asking me to come see him up here in Northern California, let alone get to the Central California. And that's, it's just amazing because it's so, now I know that Northern California has got a lot of intensity, but it's the same thing. You can never get to all the people, to all the knowledge and experience all the wines and the breadth of wines and that knowledge base because you're running out of time.
Right.
You can't get to it.
Right.
I think it depends for me on the people who I'm with, knowing their personalities. When I'm with other people, I always tell them no question is a dumb question. So I'm more apt to ask, but there's times where you just don't feel comfortable enough because other people make you feel that way. So,
right.
Because wine is an evolution and nobody knows it all.
Right. Yeah. And Michael, I agree. Like I adore our Central Coast. I love Paso Robles. So that's where I focus my attention. There's all these AVAs and all this stuff. I want to learn about my AVAs. I want to learn, for other reasons also. It's good to know which AVAs are good for which grapes and do that, but I think you have to start small and go bigger. But I'm very, again, it's the Irish, whatever. We don't know how to keep quiet at all.
Yeah. I think thankfully my wife's not here because she would put her vote in on that too.
Is she Irish also?
No, she's German.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a volatile marriage for 41 years.
All right. So back to Stefano Petta. He actually, his embarrassing moment was while he was decanting a Chateau Montrose 2001 over a candle, and he actually caught the label on fire.
That's pretty funny.
Like, he must have been holding it over that candle for quite some time. Like, I'm going to have to give that a try. I'm going to have to hold a bottle over a candle and see how long it takes to actually light that label, like, on fire. Just, might be a little pyromania in me, but, kind of curious to how that works. But I could see how that would be embarrassing. All right. So I saved the last, I guess the most famous person that I could find for last, and it is James Suckling.
Okay.
And this will make us all feel much better because if James Suckling can do this, then we're all good. We're all good. So he was at a bar drinking, and I don't know why this matters, but in his story, the bar had a 2003 Castello Banfi Brunello de Montalcino by the glass for 12 euros. I don't know why that's important. It seemed to be too good to pass by. So the wine was full of flavor and round tannins and caressing texture. The only problem was that his watch caught the rim of the glass when I was reaching across the table, and half of its contents dumped all over me on my white shirt. It was an ugly sight to see. He said, but his friends were good friends because you know what his friends did?
Gave him wine away.
Ah!
Did they
It was pre-wine away.
Did they?
I think this was pre-wine away.
Oh.
His friends came to his rescue and dumped their glasses all over, their glasses of water all over his shirt.
I was thinking they could come out in this English shirt for him or something.
Yeah. Yes. So if James Suckling can spill wine all over his shirt, then it is quite okay for us to spill wine all over our shirts, I guess. Although I don't think I'd be happy if my friends threw water at me afterwards.
Club soda, right? Doesn't club soda take
Club
it out?
soda. Or just white wine.
More white wine or more
Yeah.
wine on you.
Yeah, white wine. Whatever. I don't really get why it's a whatever. All right. So, ready for our riddle?
Sure.
Unless you guys have thought of another embarrassing moment.
I
No.
know I have a lot, but I just
All right.
pressed it in the back of my memory.
All right. I wish I could repress them in the back of my memory. All right. Here we go. We ready?
Yeah.
All right. You walk into a creepy house by yourself. There is no electricity, plumbing, or ventilation. Inside, you notice 3 doors with numbers on them. You must choose one to go through. Door number 1 says lions. You'll be eaten by the lion who is extremely hungry. Door number 2 says ninjas. You'll be stabbed to death by an onslaught of ninjas. Door number 3 says chair. There is an electric chair that is waiting for you. What door do you choose?
You don't.
You have to.
You're in a creepy house.
Michael's taking notes. I love you,
I
Michael.
I
love
did
you.
last time when I got it. I wrote down some notes so I could figure this out.
House. Lion will eat you. Ninjas will stab you. The chair so you can sit down.
It's an electric chair. The chair so you can sit down. They also have a glass of wine with you for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No idea. Got me.
Yeah. All right. I'll read it again, and as I do, I will pause at the critical moment. Okay. You walk into a creepy house by yourself. There is no electricity, plumbing, or ventilation. Inside, you notice 3 doors with numbers on them. You must choose one. See, Debbie, you must choose one to go through. Door number 1 says lions. You'll be eaten by lions who are extremely hungry. Door number 2 says ninjas. You'll be stabbed to death by an onslaught of ninjas. Door number 3 says chairs. There's an electric chair waiting for you. Which door do you pick?
Chair.
Chair, because there's no electricity.
Yeah. There you go.
See, it's all in how you read it. Where
Yeah.
where you put that emphasis or where you put that pause.
Well, I picked chair the first time.
Yeah, because you just wanted wine.
Yeah. Yeah, you thought it was a sit-down bar.
Yeah.
Well, it is, because there's no electricity for the electric chair.
Yep. No electricity for the chair. Very good. Very good. All right. So, I am actually going to take December off from Wine Writers Wrap Up because it is just such a hectic time for everybody I know. So we're going to move over and we will go into January. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know what the topic is yet. I have like 6 topics that I have prepared. I just don't know which one I'm going to be in the mood for in January. So we will take a little holiday break, a hiatus in December, and I hope everybody has wonderful holidays. But this is give you 1 minute or so each to say whatever you'd like to say. Let people know where to find you if you're doing anything that you want them to know about. So, Michael, you want to go first?
Yeah. So I just published today an article on LaRue Winery, and it's a 35-year-old woman winemaker from went to Cal Poly, and she's makes wine for another 5 different wineries. And I met with her last Friday, and she's up in Sonoma, and she's very, very sharp and makes some excellent Pinots and Chardonnays. She also does other things such as cabs and some Sauv Blancs. And supposedly there's a Cab Franc buried somewhere in one of her wineries, so I'm gonna check that out some point. But that's in California Wines and Wineries, HTTPS, California Wines and Wineries.
Awesome.
And I have one question, a plug for you on the Wine Alphabet. When's the next one?
We're taking a hiatus too from November, and then December will be Debbie.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. It is the 3rd Wednesday.
No, Monday.
Or Monday. Monday in December. So I want to say.
Well, that's pretty close to Christmas. Do you want to take a hiatus?
And then, but I'm not going to be here January. I can't do it. Or we're going to.
No, January. We're doing January 28th, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It should be December. It should be December 17th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here on the Winefabet Street, Roussan.
Yeah, we're doing Roussan. Okay. So December 17th.
December 17th.
We can do that.
That's up to you because I'm available on the 17th.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
So, yeah.
So
lots of Roussan in the cellar, so that I'll have some.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so December 17th, Roussan will be taking a hiatus from Wine Writers Wrap Up until January. And Debbie, what you got to say?
I want to wish everybody a great Thanksgiving. It's time for, to spend with your family, your friends, and just enjoy. And it's Lori's birthday. I know I've been slow with my writing because I'm just getting back from being sucked into the restaurant business for 2-3 months. So look for some really good articles coming out soon on my blog, HudsonValleyWineGoddess.com. And you can always catch me on Facebook and Instagram, see what I'm drinking, and Twitter and Pinterest. But most importantly, enjoy the holidays with your family.
Mm-hmm. And Michael, I am highly impressed, Michael. You met with somebody on Friday, and your post is already out. I'm highly impressed.
Oh.
I have a stack here. I'm so backed up. I need to be like on a deserted island with no communication, just a laptop that I can just write with and then come back onto the mainland and hit publish.
Yeah, but and so thank you, but you don't see the 20, to Debbie's point, there's 20 stories sitting here piled up on the desk that I have.
Oh, okay, you just chose to do that. All right.
Yeah. All right. But I had a quick question for you, though. Sure. For Debbie, where is your restaurant? What city?
It's in Stone Harbor, New Jersey.
Is that north? I don't know where Stone Harbor is.
It's at the very tip of New Jersey.
South.
So, why?
It's the end of New Jersey.
So how close to Princeton?
Probably about an hour and a half south.
Okay.
It's about a half an hour. It's about a half an hour south of Atlantic City.
Okay. All right. Sometimes I get out to Princeton once in a while. So.
Do you?
You'll have to come down and visit.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, you will have to let us know.
Yeah, we'll have a nice dinner at the restaurant.
All right. Long ways to go, but I'll see what I can. Next time I'm out that way, I'll definitely see what I can do.
Yeah. And I am Lori. You can find me all over social media at Dracaena Wines. I am like to talk again. December 4th is Cab Franc Day. So please join us in our chat. We're actually having 2 hours of a chat. The first hour is from 8 to 9 Eastern time, and that is a general chat. So just go grab yourself your favorite bottle of Cab Franc, or a new to you bottle of Cab Franc, or I don't know, a Dracaena Wines Cab Franc, and join us. We'll just be asking general questions about Cab Franc and, you know, talking to each other, just sharing the Cab Franc love. And then from 9 to 10, we are actually having 11 wineries who are participating and submitting samples to some bloggers. And these wineries will be on Twitter, and you can ask them whatever you want about Cab Franc or about themselves, about the winery themselves. And this year we have wineries from Central Coast, so Paso Robles. We have Napa. We have New York. We have Australia, and we have South Africa. So join in the Cab Franc love. You have a couple of weeks to go find a bottle that you want to celebrate with, and just use the hashtag Cab Franc Day, and we will be in contact. So that's everything. So thanks, guys, for joining, and I hope you got a little laughs. So.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was good. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great Thanksgiving, guys. Enjoy Hungary.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I will. Thank you. Have a great time.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.